After we've seen the genuinely quite different liveries from Repsol Honda and Castrol Honda LCR revealed, the Japanese giants now be back on track and back to work as they push to return to the top. There were positive signs at the Sepang test that steps forward have already been made, and a whole lot of positive vibes. Joan Mir led the charge on the timesheets, Takaaki Nakagami was next, then Johan Zarco before fellow new arrival Luca Marini, but Marini also hinted at more hardware to come in Qatar as they methodically worked their way through their updates for 2024. The fastest Austrian machine overall was Brad Binder as the outfit looked to go from frontrunners to the factory to beat, and he and teammate Jack Miller will undoubtedly continue with their preseason modus operandi, putting everything through its paces and fitting everything together before being concerned with a serious assault on the timesheets. But it was rookie sensation Pedro Acosta who stole many of the headlines, fastest at the shakedown, fast in the Sepang test and with a very impressive Tissot sprint simulation that was the best of the RC16's over 9 laps. Based on his performances in the World Championship paddock so far, it's both very Acosta and yet genuinely still remarkable at the same time. There were positive signs from Yamaha in Sepang too, with only one slight cloud hanging over the camp, 1 lap pace. It's something Fabio Quartararo said they'll continue focusing on until they make inroads, so over 2 more days in Qatar that will be one to watch. But those positives elsewhere were real, and there was a host of new stuff coming out the box in Sepang too, from the engine to the tail unit. So Quartararo and new teammate Alex Rins will have plenty to work with in the final 2 test days. And remember, the new concession rules mean both Yamaha and Honda don't have to homologate a final engine spec and can keep testing throughout the season. In one camp, Alex Espargaro, Aprilia Racing, said it was their best preseason yet and he was 5th overall. But teammate Maverick Viñales and Trackhouse Racing's Miguel Oliveira found it a more difficult test, and they'll be looking for much more in Qatar, either in terms of adjustments to get the same out of the package as Espargaro managed to do, or in hardware. The Knoll factory also haven't run their new engine through its paces to define their final spec yet, something they said we'll see in Qatar, and we'll also see Raul Fernandez back on Trackhouse duty after his crash saw him sit much of Sepang out. After domination right at the top thanks to a new fastest ever lap from reigning champion Francesco Bagnaia, backed up by a fast showing from Jorge Martin on the chase and Enea Bastianini in 3rd, signs are very positive for the newest Borgo Panigale machine. We won't have Franco Morbidelli back in action just yet at Prima Pramac Racing, but he'll be looking positively at the performance of the machine he'll be racing this season. Meanwhile at Pertamina Enduro VR46 Racing Team, new arrival Fabio Di Gianantonio hit the ground running in Sepang, putting in a seriously impressive Tissot sprint simulation, whereas Marco Bezzecchi will be looking for a little more. He'll also likely have an eye on the Rins Cup, the informal but much faded competition to beat Alex Rins to the honor of first on track every day. At Gresini Racing MotoGP, it's an interesting dynamic too. Alex Marquez was fast from the off, 4th overall and only just behind Bastianini, whereas Marc Marquez's focus was laps, 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 as he looks to find every limit of every part of his new machine. The number 93, whether 19th or 1st on the timesheets, is sure to make more headlines at Lusail. He also reminded everyone in Malaysia that the testing venues since Valencia are both tracks he's always found tougher.